sippin', I'm 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 sippin'.
Sippin', I'm 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 sippin'.
But I like it. It has a lot of functions that I haven't even tried. It's really cool.
Now, E, you gotta remember that you're off camera. So be quiet or be on the microphone. God damn. Alright, you ready? This is Sippin' with Sammie. I am Sippin' with Sammie. Sam Malone, Barstool, Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammie, you ain't sippin' right. Get your fucking life together. And I got Saf with me.
Yo, I'm in the building.
What's the head tilt when you do that? Like,
because today I got hair.
Oh, all right. And we got a special guest with us today. Guest, introduce yourself to my people.
Serita Lewis over here with the Urban Seek. We do community engagement activities and really working to get folks out to vote right now.
Welcome.
Glad to have you. Somebody that I've been seeing on the scene, pun intended, for a long time, and recently been seeing a lot with the City of Dreams Coalition events and Rec Philly things. And one thing's for sure, two things for certain: you always working to help other people get done what they got to get done. And I want to salute that first off and just start with that.
Absolutely.
From the giddy up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's awesome because I think I told Saf yesterday, I said every time I see her, she's working and smiling. And when you show up to these things and you know that you come to do the same thing, be at the same capacity, it helps to have somebody greet you that way on it, because everybody don't know how to do that, man.
Right. That's
everybody, well, I'm here. Like, no, that's not all of it.
You are not doing something from your heart if you got to do it and feel like it's a job.
Mm-hmm.
So, long as you can always smile when you're doing it, you're doing it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So you wear a lot of hats or a few smocks. You were part of a lot of different things. Where did it start from? How do we get into this realm, this cycle that you're in? A good cycle, by the way.
So it's a dope cycle. Like being a volunteer, being a community activist and advocate, I think it's something I've always done. So I was actually thinking a couple weeks ago about the first time that I ever did an activist movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to spring garden school when I was in second grade, and I don't know what happened. All I remember is that I was standing outside and had a big poster, and my mom and everybody was like, "We want Meltzer out," who was the principal of the school. It was the first time that I ever did a protest was in second grade. And I didn't know why I was doing it, but I saw everybody get very energized by it. But giving back to the community was always really important to me anyway. So I always found a way to get into volunteering. And I've been with Penn for 19 years, and so I would always do, I'd be on some committee. I would be on whatever committee, like the King Day of Service, I was on the planning committee. The getting the grants and stuff out to the Kids for House, I was on that committee. Like, if you could find a reason for me to help out, I was there. And when I left Penn, I really was able to just go all in. And so the first big activity that I did after working with my kids for the city year was March for Our Lives. So with March for Our Lives Philly, we actually hosted a really great march that was focused on the kids. That's what I care about. Mm-hmm. That's where I want to put most of my energy into. And so I helped our kids to organize and put on their first large march. And we had 15,000 people show up.
Dope.
It was dope.
Nah, that's success.
It really was. I remember.
If I ever heard it.
Yeah, I remember that event. It really was a good turnout. It was a dope event. And I think, just add a little light to it, like Whitney Houston said, though, but the children are our future, right? So it's important that we put that energy and that attention on them, because they'll be who we'll be looking to in a few upcoming years. So it's really important and vital that we invest our time and energy in them. So,
and our generation, the gap between our generation and two generations behind us is really what you're feeling. Because there became a time where the kids under us, the youngins under us, they didn't have the leadership from us, or they didn't accept it. And they're growing to the point where they're teenagers, they're becoming young adults, and they needed that in some form or fashion. So you're filling that gap because you're in that age range of where we feel like we lost them at, whether that was our fault or not. Right. You know what I mean? I think we have to take a lot of the responsibility for that, but society norms have changed.
I was about
as
to
far
say
as what's acceptable as rearing someone and trying to help somebody. and how they take that. So,
and also,
I mean, like, part of it is that our kids, like I knew that I grew up in the 80s, right?
Mhm.
From the 70s, but I grew up in the 80s. And a lot of really awful things happened to our community.
that's what I was going to say.
So,
Yep.
I mean, like, when I grew up, I would tell you, keep it 100. I grew up in Richard Allen.
Mhm.
So, you know, I didn't know I lived in the hood.
right.
Because it was clean. You know,
Right.
this popcorn was sitting on the steps selling the candy at the little stand. The guy would come through on Saturdays selling fish, fried fish, pretzels and stuff. Like, I didn't know I lived in the hood. I'm gonna be real honest with you.
Okay.
And then crack happened.
Exactly.
You know, and I mean, like, it was crack. And okay, this is gonna sound real weird, but everybody stopped coming outside because of herpes. That's all I remember.
Wow.
Like, it was weird as heck. I was 8, and I remember that people were like, "Oh, yo, herpes." I'm like, "What the heck is that?" I didn't know what it was. I didn't know, but I do know that the world changed around that time. So you had these sexually transmitted diseases, and you had people that were all getting high on crack. But before people got high, they smoked weed, whatever, you know. But crack just like changed everything. It changed everything.
It definitely. Yeah, you're right. It definitely had a major impact, and I think it was one other thing that kind of precedented it, which was also Vietnam. I feel like Vietnam was the beginning of ours as a Black community and our families, kind of losing our men, be it our fathers, our sons, our brothers, and then if they made it back. A lot of them made them back either if it wasn't mentally, mentally challenged or having mental difficulties or PTSD. It was also drug addicted. So there were so many
And also
things.
the fact that the military, didn't live up to any of the promises.
Absolutely
for the
not.
Black men,
And they
so
still don't.
Came back
But
to
check it out.
nothing.
Don't forget one thing that's like majorly important. The project was a project. And so as soon as like they started getting a lot of Black people living in, because they were for the middle class, they were not for us.
Exactly.
Well, I'm sorry, they were not for
Black lower
Poor
income
people,
people.
right.
Exactly.
They were not. They were for the middle class. But here's the trick. When the project became a project, they also required that if you had a man,
Exactly. Yep.
if you were a married couple, you had to get rid of your man. So the idea of us having to game the system to hold on to our families became extremely important. And then they started doing, they were like crazy egregious with it because they even had people come and check your house.
Yes.
And find out, make sure that you ain't got no man living in your house.
Exactly.
So how do you keep your family together with a situation like that?
And
Right.
like I think all of this leads to like what I was saying about the gap, because the trust and the consistency and everything shifted to where, everybody feels like they're on their own. Everybody feels like they have to figure out something without help, or that's a weakness because you don't have consistent strength around you as far as pillars.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, one of the things that I'm very grateful for is that I connect to organizations that really understand the requirements that we have as adults for our children.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, like my age group, you got a whole bunch of people who actually are now realizing how really toxic our upbringing was because of all these situations.
Absolutely.
And we are working to make that change. But we are also putting our young folks, like y'all, mostly the young men, unfortunately, on notice because we had a whole bunch of men who didn't teach all right. I have kids that I go and mentor on Tuesdays that go to JJC, and I was like, all right, so let's talk about this gun violence. Like, what's going on? How do y'all feel about that? And the one kid says to me, see, you don't understand. Because if my old head got beat, I got beat. I was like, what do you mean? Because I'm old, so, I mean, I understood all the components, but when he said that his old G's problem, his old G's problem is
His problem.
I said, how is that possible? He was like, well, cause that's your OG, he got like whatever's going on with him, you gotta take it on. So we have adults, not even like the high school and like even like a 22 or 23-year-old, but we have full grown men going to children and telling them that their responsibility is to fight the battles for them.
Well, what happens in those situations a lot of times is it's perceived that the OG is taking care of this person. So if that person looks out for me in that way, then I have to protect what protects me. That's the hand that feeds me. That's the cash cow. But ultimately, taking care of you is not putting you in harm's way. It's giving you an alternative to harm's way, and that's where like we got to, especially in Philly. Like if you was older, you was an old head, or if you was older, you wanted to call somebody a young boy. And even as a younger man, I had a problem with that because I lost all of my old heads. So just because you were older than me didn't make you my old head, because you didn't do anything to earn that title.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So like at a certain level, like my man is saying in the background, I keeps forgetting he doesn't have a microphone. It becomes disrespectful. You know, either you're disrespecting me by trying to young boy me and not earning that, or I'm disrespecting myself by giving somebody that didn't deserve that. Mm-hmm. And these kids don't realize the difference between who's taking care of you and who's taking care of you. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Oh no, I get it. So there are a couple of things that that I do in my service to our youth. And one of the things that I think is most important is to be able to say that I'm consistent.
Absolutely.
And to be able to say that I am supporting you, and to be able to say I'm actually not just listening to you, but I hear you. Mm-hmm. You know, and that I value what you have to say. Because Black children, including myself, we all grew up with the mindset of children are seen, not heard. Mm-hmm. So it's not business.
Yeah.
You don't have an opinion, right?
But the truth comes from the mouth of babes. So that's so backwards.
Exactly. But you grew up like
no, that is. Yeah, you're right.
So Black children mumble. They feel uncomfortable talking in front of groups of people. They don't actually even, like they say, oh, I don't know. I'm saying it wrong. Because too many people have told them they're wrong.
Even down to voting. That's the excuse not to vote. Don't nobody care what I got to vote for. No, who cares about me?
Right. So what I do is I'm constantly reinforcing the understanding for them. I love you. I care for you. This one kid was like, man, cause he was like, man, you say all that, but you don't even care about us. And I said, I don't care about you. Are you serious? I said, what makes you think that? Because you only here because you get paid to be here. And I was like, oh, I said, baby, I don't even work here.
Right. But they don't understand that, and they have to test you, because there's been a lot of people that showed up
that don't
for
care.
Purposes, whether it's to be with their mom, their sister, whether it's a professional thing, and when it really counted, those people weren't there for them. And when things happen, those people disappeared, and there was no outreach. And they're gonna try you. But kids are the ultimate judge of character. If you sweet, they're gonna figure it out. If you care, they're gonna show you that they know.
So I mean, like for me, I'm like, look, I said, you know, I come here twice a week. I don't have a paycheck to go with this. I actually leave work to come here. And he looked around and he looked at the lady who runs the program. Listen, you gotta get her paid.
Cause he would never do that. Not in the mindset that he's in. He's like, she's here for free. Like, why? Because she cares.
She actually cares.
Because she shouldn't be wasting her time. And that's just,
you're not a waste of time.
You are not a waste of time.
You are worthy of energy.
Yes. You are worth all this energy.
Mm-hmm.
You are worth me. You know, cause getting on SEPTA and carrying, and I carry games with me, so I carry my games. I do all of this because I want them to just feel like kids. They spend way too much time in an age bracket that's not their own.
Absolutely. And can't read in their own age bracket.
You can't read. You 16, 17. You done already been in jail. Oh my God, last week we were talking about unprotected sex. I got condoms for them next time. I'm supposed to be here today, but I'm at the hospital with my nephew.
Any resources we can help with, let us know. Sure,
absolutely.
Thank you. And I will take you up on that one. Because
please do.
I'm here. We're here.
We need real mentors. We need real, like, people who really are in a position to talk not crazy to our kids. Like, I've had people come to me and be like, I want to come talk to these kids because they got to understand. I'm like, well, you can't come talk to them.
Not like that.
That's near me. I don't know what made you think that this was that. Like, it's not.
No.
Because I protect my kids.
And it's going to backfire on you. It's not going to work.
Well, see, for some kids, that's all people have ever done is yell at them And so they aren't even ready to respond to somebody who's talking nice to them, because they look at that as somebody that's a punk.
Or somebody that's trying to get over on them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But you're not. Like, so you have to really, you got to come at these kids a special way. And so I don't let just anybody near my kids.
Right. That's important.
But we need mentors. We need men to be mentors. We need women to be mentors. I'm not talking about females
or males, right?
I'm not. Look, tell you something. There's way too many of these folks out here that don't even understand that when you're calling a woman a female, you done already just took her straight out of the daggone humanity. Look, I'm not for that. And if you see yourself as just a female, it's time for us to sit down and have a talk about who you are and identify your self-worth. So I like to bring women and men in front of our children so they can know what they need to be working toward, so that they understand the kind of people that's going to stand back and stand for them.
Now, I don't want to get into it right now, but at some point, you got to explain the female thing to me. Because it's been a thing recently that I've been hearing about.
It drives me up a wall.
And I hear different reasonings or whatever, and none of which I disagree with, but I don't understand the full total. But we ain't gonna do that now. We do that another time. That's it. That's another time. No, yeah, I'm just trying to be clear, because at the same time, it's weird to think if I call you female, I'm being disrespectful. But at the same time, ignorance is bliss. So if I don't know, then if I do know, then I want to understand it.
Say it like this, Tim. Real simple. I want you to understand that when you are not calling me either a girl, a young lady, or a woman, you're taking my humanity from me.
Why?
Because animals are male and female too.
Okay, I don't know if you're talking to a cat, a cow,
See, and I get that. And I understand that. But we were taught that everything was gender-based. So, like, you know, it's just a thing. Like, I just never thought.
That's actually something that, like, the medical field and the prison complex.
And I believe that.
So you got men and women that's kind of like police officers when they're filling out paperwork, black male, black female. Okay? So you're actually indoctrinating that into yourself. But see, you don't hear most men calling a man a male. You don't hear black.
I don't think I say female much. I just don't want to, like, you know what I mean? I don't.
You hear female, but you don't hear male.
Yeah, I don't think I say it a lot, though.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But I mean, like, it's one of those things where if y'all won't do it to yourself, why you gonna do it to us?
Yeah, but that's part of the reason I don't think I say it a lot, because I don't think I say male or female like that. Like, you know what I mean? And, you know, when I'm referring to homies or my dudes, my whatever, it's different. But like male, female is not more than man or woman in my vocabulary now that I'm thinking about it. But I just wanted to understand. I wanted the people that's listening to understand, because if that's not the way, then we ain't got to do it. But at the same time, how do I tell somebody else? Why? You know, each one teach type of thing. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Sa?
I'm just taking it in because I understood what she was saying, and it's just interesting to note the different ways that women and men receive information, right? Because you and I have a lot, like, we went to the same schools till high school, and even our family backgrounds are very much similar. So it's just interesting how you perceive something versus how I perceive something. So it's just really interesting, because I think a lot of times we were in those same rooms hearing the same thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing, and you work with kids, and I'm sure this is evident with your dealings with them, people learn differently in general.
Absolutely, and that's what I was about to say.
And it's not acknowledged enough in learning, in the learning atmosphere. So in society, it's definitely not considered as much as it should be. And I think a certain way, and I'm looking for certain things when I hear things. You know what I mean? And other people can grasp it without hearing those things. And it's a thing about me.
But guess what? Also, you are a black man, right? So I'm also thinking about how many times you might have heard that versus how many times I might even have heard it. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes things are told to me differently, not just in the school situation, but just upbringing. Like, boys don't cry, you know, whatever it might be. So it might even have been.
Yeah. And I've had those conversations
environmental
with the
thing,
homegirls
like,
before, like, about how many things we take for granted. I mean, even as though, like, recently we began more and more into how women are treated in the workplace and how women are treated in society and things like that. And men know these things. Like, we know that women have to constantly walk out here and protect themselves because somebody might want to take advantage of them physically or any other kind of way. But we don't realize how frequently it happens until it's said.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And part of it might be because, one, a lot of things are suppressed and a lot of things are hidden, especially in our culture. But also a lot of it might be that we don't want to know the extent of it because it hurts. It's scary to us. But it's not to not acknowledge that either, though.
Is it like the ignorance is bliss part of it?
That's not even the bliss part of it, because at the end of the day, it doesn't help either.
It doesn't.
Like
you're not harmed, but
to know is to understand. You want to be able to better communicate with you. To not know is to make me feel more comfortable with you going out. You see what I'm saying? And this is my homegirl. This is not my daughter, my lady, or nothing. But at the same time, like, the amount of stress that we already encompass with just what we already have to deal with, it's like to add that to it is really scary to us. When, like, even nowadays that I'm hearing it more and more and I'm dealing with, I'm like, this shit is fucking scary. And I'm 38. I'm not
no one is half the
old
battle.
or young. You know what I mean?
So it was there was a thing on Twitter, and the question was asked of, I don't know if it was black women. It might have been black women. You know, black Twitter be doing stuff. Black Twitter be doing some stuff. I'm gonna be honest, but the question was, what would you do in a world without men?
Survive? Like, I'd be fine.
No.
Actually, you can't procreate. That's the first thing.
No, it wasn't about the loss of men to you. It was about how do men impact, like the women. Okay, so that was the question, very basic. But the responses that women gave were not about, oh my gosh, if I lost men, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Right.
It was, if I lost men, I would be able to walk down the street dressing like I want to.
Oh, wow.
In a world without men, I could walk down the street in the middle of the night and go to a movies any hour that I like. It was in that moment of reading these different comments that I recognized that the reality is that our men, if we are just going to be a little bit particular about this and say that there's a role that men play and there's a role that women play, and our men are supposed to be in a position to provide and protect us, right? Because they want certain things from us. Because if we're going to be very honest about it, and this is just how I feel, we are the pinnacle of creation.
Absolutely.
So
that's why I said procreate. Absolutely. That's exactly what I was getting to. Yep.
You know, and so because we make people, we should be held at a space where, look, I'm not asking you to pick up every heavy thing. I'm not asking you to make it so that, oh, no, don't do nothing. But I should be able to lean on you. I should be able to protect you.
Absolutely.
You expect me to protect you. You know,
now,
I should feel protected, but our girls don't. Our girls feel victimized.
Now, one thing.
Still, you know, like if there's a group of men standing together, we are trying to figure out the best way to get out of it.
But you know what's crazy too, though? If there's a group of men standing together, like I gotta walk past a dice game, I'm not comfortable neither. But at the same time, what I want to ask is, like, America's a horrible place as far as mentality for a lot of things in general. There's a lot of other countries that are ran by religion that are strongly male based. But is this a mentality thing or is it a gender thing? Because it is, as men everywhere going to catcall you if you walk past a group of men and all across the world?
All across the world, it's problematic. Matter of fact, all across the world, being black is problematic.
Absolutely. I'm just asking about the women thing.
But if you think about how women are treated across multiple locations in the world,
yeah,
you will recognize that very often women are not kind of put at the pinnacle. We are actually treated as a second class, fully a second class. There's times where women can't own property, they can't keep their children. If they get a divorce, their husband gets their kids. They just get stripped of everything. You know, in one of the locations in Ethiopia, I watched this movie and it broke my heart. I swear it broke my heart. They basically the men decide that they want to marry this girl. She's like 13, but this is just standard for them, right? She's 13, she's 12, she's 14. And then they've made a decision that she's the one that they're going to marry, and they go and kidnap her and rape her. And then she's married.
What's the name of that movie?
I'll find it and give it to you. I saw it on is it on Netflix or Hulu? But oh goodness, why can't I find my words today, y'all?
Because you're doing a lot today. We appreciate your time too. But when you find it, when you figure it out, just tell us. It's a documentary. When you figure it out, just tell us and we'll put it on the screen. We'll put it in later. It's not a problem. It's not a big deal.
I mean, like it's really crazy. So what women and girls have to go through across the world is problematic.
Absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Unfortunately, I wish that I could just say that it's just the United States, but honestly, so many of the places that we go to, they've actually taken on the mindset of European ideas.
And that was my question, because I wasn't just trying to limit it to the U.S. Like I said, there's other places that we all know about, like, and nowhere is being black what it's supposed to be. But I was just wondering, because I might not be aware, you might be aware. So if you saying that, then it is what it is. But I'm just asking. I'm not even playing devil's advocate. I'm trying to be clear. Because at the end of the day, pushing back on that would be against what I set up in my own life. You know what I mean? Like, you see who next to me, you know who behind the boards. Like, I know the value of the people that's around me, regardless of what they identify with, they're identified as. Across the board, and that's race, religion, gender, whatever have you. We gonna figure something out if it's worth figuring out, and you gonna get your full credit for whatever the hell you do, because 9 times out of 10, I can't do what you do with anybody that I'm gonna go in business with,
right?
Because 50% of this 50 of the same thing is still 50,
right?
You see what I'm saying? That's a relationship jewel for you people too, man. Y'all think bringing 50 to the table is bringing the same 50, man. You need balance. You need balance.
You never actually should be bringing 50 to anything that you
should go 100.
Quite frankly, it has to be 100%.
It should be 100 from both sides. I agree.
Then you're never going to have a full relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, people expect to pull half the weight, and they make that their thing, where you should be going 100 at anything that you're passionate about. Anything. Anything. That's how hobbies become careers.
Amen to that one. Look at that.
I mean, you know, we're around those kind of people all the time that are proving it. I'm sitting next to one now that, you know, she has options because she invested fully into what she was trying to do multiple different ways and times. And that's important.
Thank you, sis.
That's important, you know.
But speaking of that, so I wanted to talk about some of your initiatives. So we've already heard that, you know, you're a mentor in one of the programs that you spoke to. But what are some of the things? I know you have a lot going on. What are some of the things that you do to, you know, put your energy and effort into our community?
So right now it's all about voter registration and education. So I really don't believe that anybody should be voting unless they know why they're voting. If you don't know what you're voting for, don't just walk into a poll. You need to talk to somebody and make sure that you're very clear. So mentorship is very important to me. I sit on boards. Boards are the way that you're able to help
influence. Absolutely.
I'm a committee person, so I'm an elected official. Very low tier. It's probably the best spot to be in because you can make stuff happen because you are right there.
At the grounds. Yep. You at the ground. Yep.
Right. Anti-gun violence initiatives are super important for me, which is, you know, I started out with martial arts Philly. But, you know, I stepped away from that organization. I still am very ingrained in the community.
I feel like I saw you back then, too.
You did?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I know we've come across each other, too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you supported us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Sammie has been right there all the time. Like, he definitely has been a huge advocate for the work that needs to get done in the community and across our neighborhoods. And I have so much respect for him. I told him the other day, and I will keep saying, I have so much respect for who you are and what you do.
I appreciate being involved. I appreciate being included. I appreciate tagging, DMing, texting me, letting me know, and giving me somewhere to give the energy that I do have, or the time that I do have, or a couple of hours, or whatever have you that I could provide. I'm here to do that. Just like you said, I was part of the Martin Luther King Day things. We couldn't sleep in on Martin Luther King Day. It wasn't a thing in my house. You got work to do.
You look. You can't. You don't have a day off. You got work to do all the time. You know. And if you got time to sit there and watch TV, you got time to get out and make somebody's life a little bit better.
Well, when the last time you watched TV without having to go through text messages, emails, and all type of stuff and figuring this out or being on your computer? Like, even when you watch a TV, you working.
Yeah.
Especially when you working for yourself and for the community.
Absolutely.
I'm always working. Like, so I didn't just have my laptop with me because I was going to be doing this kind of conversation. I always have my laptop with me. Always. You know, I got an extra charger. I'm always prepared because I never know what I'm going to need to do. But it's like, it is an honor. It is a pleasure. My life is so full. I am so grateful to be able to serve my community. And more importantly, I am so grateful that people understand what I'm trying to do and they hear me. You know,
you leaving footprints in the concrete, woman. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You go at steps where you never been because the seeds that you grow are going to go elsewhere and bloom other things. So like you got footprints on concrete you never going to step on. And that's what life is about. If it's possible for you, why not? We talk about legacy a lot. We talk about the difference between priorities when you try to start something and when you get to a certain point in life and you realize that, you know what, there's other things that I could do that may be more impactful. Mm-hmm. And when you can give selflessly and get that reward of fulfillment from it, it's nothing like it. No. It's nothing like it. And one thing that I say all the time, because people always say, well, you do this, you do that. People have no idea how much has been done for me. From people that didn't owe me a thing. Right. People that didn't know me but so long, ran into me, maybe a couple words here, there, whatever. But I'm still paying so much forward that I feel like I'm going to spend my lifetime doing that, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. You know, I'm here at the hospital with my nephew.
It's cool. All right. Go handle your business. No problem.
Thank you. All right.
Always watch women rule.
Why? What do women do? Different
women,
than men.
First of all, women is super neat what they wrote. Like that's why I always believe women should be better rulers than men. But they also do little sexy shit with their tongue and shit.
I do when I know somebody watching. I ain't do it for y'all, but I do.
But like nigga, see, so they was doing it for me. Damn, I probably missed a lot of opportunities.
Probably did, because I definitely do it.
Oh, you get that nigga that ammo.
You see me at the candle yesterday. I was like, oh.
Stupid, yo.
Gotta remember my audience.
Kay is phenomenal. We got.
See, I'm glad I think before I speak.
Yeah, so Serita handling business. Shout out to her.
Shout out to
Salute
Serita.
to her. Somebody that you definitely want to support. Somebody that if you see her, tell her she's doing a good job. Tell her you hope she has a good day, because she's making sure that a lot of people that function in a society that you have to function amongst have the opportunities, the resources, and the same good job, good day going their way for them. And I think that that is something that should always be celebrated, applauded, and reciprocated.
Absolutely.
Reciprocated. You can't do for her what she does for them, but you could do for her what you could do for her.
Right.
So salute to the queen, man.
Absolutely.
Much respect for her handling multitasking.
Absolutely.
Starting it off and then dealing with her family. So
yeah, she life happens, and she held down her end of the bargain today for us. So I appreciate it, and we'll have her back soon. She has a family member that I'm not gonna give the whole thing on, but we all aware of what was popping with her that we want to tap into too, as a strong black queen that's doing big things. Is that her? No. Oh, all right. So we'll get her on soon too. But outside of that, what's been going on with my folks, man? How's this week treating y'all? We getting closer to D-Day. It's crazy. It feel like D-Day, don't it? V-Day.
It is D-Day.
It's
to an
crazy.
extent, in some regard.
Which, you can vote early, for those that don't know.
Mail-in vote.
Yeah. Not even just that. They hold.
No, you can vote early and mail-in vote. I was making a list.
Yeah. They got certain sites, even in the city, where you can go to My daughter just voted for the first time ever.
Dope.
So,
Congratulations.
Very proud of
Congratulations.
that.
Yeah,
Got her
congratulations.
vote off.
Yeah, Muff.
Yeah, I'm in West Philly, so I'll be at Overbrook doing my early vote. So
Now, let me explain to people, man. Even if you don't vote early, even if you don't submit a mail-in ballot, you can plan to vote still. You can carpool. You can babysit for somebody that needs to go vote. You can do all kind of things to prep to make sure that who needs to get out there can get out there.
Right.
That y'all protect each other from the nonsense that they're predicting. That y'all stand in unity. Take great pictures. Just promote a great service being done because we've earned the right to, and this is an egregious time where you need to shake a leg at doing what's afforded to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to let you know that even if you're nervous about these things or if you feel like you're too late, no, just plan from here on a way that you're going to get it done. Mm-hmm. And if you know somebody, if you've already voted, reach out to your homegirl that got them babies that's virtual learning and tell her, baby, you got an hour or two from me. I'm going to come and I'm going to sit over there and I'm going to fix lunch or eat lunch or order pizza and you go ahead and vote.
Right.
Because it matters. It helps.
Absolutely.
And maybe she'll
Absolutely.
pick up somebody and take somebody to the polls with her and, so forth and so on. But we can only do what we're able to do. Your job can't keep you there. But right now, a lot of people aren't at work. So we have to adjust. But they're making ways for us to adjust. And a lot of shit is going to be weird. So just make sure that you get out as early as you can and come as deep as you can.
Absolutely.
And for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not anticipating bullshit, but we'll be prepared for it.
Right.
I'm anticipating bullshit. I ain't gonna hold you.
No, we're not going to do that. You know why? Because
Expect the best, prepare for the worst.
exactly.
That's how I live.
Energy is everything. And I want to feel good when I'm doing my due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go out there feeling like I got to walk down a dark alley.
Mm-hmm.
What is that mail-in vote that scares me? It just,
Me too.
It has that Al Gore shit written all over it. To
Well,
me, in my
see,
opinion,
the thing about it
he
is
already starting his shit. So.
the Al Gore situation was actually the opposite side of it, though. Because the motherfucker who you worried about it working for is actually the one that's acting like he the most scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
And from all the professionals and all the analytics or whatever, when they talk about ratio of tampering and things like that and the possibility of it and what's likely to happen, it's nowhere near as unsecure as they're making it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, a lot of people that are tampering with, they finding it. Something happened in Virginia. Somebody snipped the line and all of a sudden blackout on the last day of voter. You know what they did? They extended it 48 hours.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which, salute to them. Shout out to them. Because I'm sure that the system was probably down less than a day. But
Right now they got an
They
additional.
extended it an extra day.
Exactly. I was just
Because
thinking
that's
that.
due diligence. That's action.
Absolutely.
Because they could have just, roll with, it's nothing we could do. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
Should have did it earlier.
It was a glitch in the matrix. They could have went with all that type
Why
shit. They do that shit all the time.
Don't do that voice.
You don't like that?
No, I don't like that.
That's what they call it, my mongoloid voice. But no, like at the end of the day, if we do what we can do, then if the people do what they can do as much as they can do, then we can try to offset some of the bullshit that's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. We saw what happened a few months ago in Atlanta, and we know it's going to be some tricks, but we also know that it's necessary, and there's a lot of necessary evils in life. But to live in this country, this is one of the things you gotta take care of.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to mention, a lot of people talk about, I'm not my ancestors or whatever, but people have literally lost lives. They dedicated their lives and livelihoods to us being able to have this
We are standing on the shoulders of giants.
right that we have. So
Don't discredit the giant.
absolutely. So it's just important just to credit and honor the people that came before us so that we have this right.
And I saw recently, like you actually made a post about that in regards to.
I think it's disrespectful and it's foolish.
What was the
and-
statement? It was you stating that something in regards
That
to
I'm not my ancestors.
Correct.
Exactly what she said.
Really?
Yeah, because it was one of those
I
things
don't even know if I
where
saw that one.
certain things somebody says it and people find some sort of power in it and they just want to be like it and everybody ran with it. It was like one day when I saw it all over my news feed And I didn't even realize I got a homegirl that made a t-shirt like that for somebody. And she commented and was saying, you know, when she made, I guess she thought it wasn't even about her. It was like anything I mentioned that's not uplifting or not sharing somebody's shit is usually because it's a trend and it's bothering me and is stinking thinking.
I was wondering where you
but
got that.
I would never
what
want
made
to
you post that?
disregard, like, if it wasn't for Harriet, there would be no Martin and Malcolm.
Period.
If it wasn't for
Period.
Martin and Malcolm, there would
Period.
never be. Like, these things don't exist without. So to act like, because people, and this is what really bothers me.
That's why I wanted you to share.
Not
where
too
that came
long
from.
ago, the narrative was that if I was back then, I would have never been enslaved. Because I would have got out of that shit. I'd have been stronger. I'd have been tougher. I would have. And I'm like, yo.
Hindsight is easy to speak
That's
on.
the same rhetoric, the same mode of thinking to me to believe that kind of shit. And like, they broke men stronger, bigger, better, more spiritual than you.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, if you know anything about slavery, not just the part that they tell you, any man could say, I'll die to be the fuck out of here. But how many men will say, when they catch you, you'll watch them wipe out your whole fucking family?
Exactly.
Right.
Where's the point where it's
raping
like,
women, killing children,
correct,
pillaging preachers, doing whatever they want because you decided that you didn't want to take it no more.
Exactly.
Stop acting like these decisions is as easy as if you want to motherfucking go out your house or not.
That decision wasn't selfish decision. It was based on
this
the
shit
family
was strategic,
that they had.
just
things
like
that
it
they
is
had to
now.
go through to preserve their family.
And it's like, I hear people, and we have to be super careful, and that's why we have to educate, even when we're on these panels. I heard someone on the panel recently. He was speaking with the right energy. He didn't have enough education on the subject, and I'm gonna tell you why. What was the subject? He said, "How come when it comes to us, it's systematic? How come when it comes to them, it's not systematic? When it comes to this, it's not systematic." What question. That explained to me is that he doesn't understand what systematic racism means. Systematic racism is a governing force that has been doing something to us for a long time. When you talk about white people and you say, well, how come when shit happens to them, it's not systematic? It's because the system is not built against them. So with that fundamental definition of what systematic is, and I hate to use the word, in
so
the
he was systematic.
He was saying
right.
like like that it wasn't a real thing, that it was something that was made up to make us think that we were lesser, when he doesn't realize that that's actually the only reason that they believe that you need reparations is because this shit is systematic.
It's systematic, the fact that he even answered it like that.
But the thing is, it wasn't a question. It was just him. It was the middle of him trying to make a point, and it was at a good event for a good purpose, and it was about voting. But it was like, just listening to it is like, yo, I just want, if I'd have had a chance, I'd have pulled him to the side. But I want somebody to just explain to him where his messaging could be better at, because he's not wrong for his sentiment. He was trying to say that we're no lesser than. But he didn't understand the word he was using was the wrong. That terminology doesn't apply to what he's talking about.
Did that stem the post about the ancestors from that?
No, but all of these things, like, it's like once I start thinking a certain way.
I never asked you where it came from. That's what.
No, like I said, the disrespect to the ancestors thing was literally just looking at multiple posts and memes of people saying that we're not our ancestors, as if like, you know, in this moment, which is a tense moment, like, our ancestors fought so that we have the right to be as bold as we are now. Dogs and fire hoses was a real thing.
Absolutely.
When there weren't as many guns or cars in our neighborhoods back then. People were walking miles to be a part of something, and then walking miles and packing lunches and overnight bags and knowing they got to get their toothbrush because they're going to jail today. Exactly. These things happened then. They didn't have anything. And they fought hard as we are, if not harder. So I don't want us to act like just because we have more rights and we have the internet,
we can never discredit
that we're more powerful than those people. Are you crazy? We just lost a great one. Yeah. He told y'all, get into good trouble. He's been saying that since he was a boy. And not in those words, but like he's through actions. He's been he was a boy.
The good fight.
Yeah.
Fighting the good fight. Packing his own lunch, little apple, little couple loaves of bread and some cheese or something, just because it's going to be the long haul.
Right.
Yeah.
A book. just to have something to pass the time when we doing sit-ins or might be sitting down. Like, these things have been done with people that had shoes. Y'all motherfuckers got closets full of sneakers. These motherfuckers had 1-2 pair of shoes, wore them through the soul so that you could vote. And not to make it all about voting, because it's not about voting. It's about disrespecting our ancestors.
It's also about our community as well. It's about, the end of the day, it's about our village.
You got to know that we're the greatest. We started math, science, fucking colonization, not colonization, government, all type of civilization. Civilization was the word I was looking for. We started this shit.
Even with the who was just
so that means you're great.
Sharita, what was her Sharita. So even what she even mentioned earlier about teaching the people who are trying to get people to vote. That's her new initiative now. What I love most what she said is that she's teaching them on who you're voting for.
Right. She said
like,
you're not entitled to a vote unless you know why you're voting.
Right. And
she said that recently.
Huge.
She spoke to something to that point recently at an event. Shout out to Sister Talia and the City of Dreams Coalition, a recent event that we had the joint that Sunday 215 hosted. Shout out to him too. She had spoke to
Uptown.
People not understanding how far their vote goes. Somebody saying their vote don't count, and her giving an example of, well, you care about this. Where do you think this comes from? You talking about you going to jail disproportionately. You talking about these judges ain't on your side. We vote for judges too. Like, and she broke it down.
Absolutely.
And she did it quickly. And it was funny because it was one of those things like, everybody get 10 seconds, introduce yourself, say what you're here for, keep it moving. She said, I'm going to take a little longer. But she didn't take much longer, and she got a great point across. And it was to that effect. It's like telling somebody else's joke. I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
But like, you understand the sentiment in what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, she knows a way to break down the people that may not understand, a way that they can understand that you do matter.
Yeah.
This is about you. Even though you feel like, because in our community, we feel like that shit is so far up there that it never comes down. And no matter who's been up there, we've never been good down here.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're at a pivotal point in this nation where it's either going to get worse or we have the rare opportunity to do some things we never seen happen
That's
before.
very true. And that's very true.
And one thing that I also want to point out, and I want y'all to respond to this one.
What's that?
People keep talking about what 45 has done for whoever he has done it for.
I heard a lot of
things. I understand that might give you optimism into what he may do. But one thing that I know about presidents and people that have limited terms, they make it into their last term to do what they really want to do.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So don't act like a motherfucker won't do just enough to be in favor to get another term. But then get on that other term and all hell breaks loose. What happens at the end of every presidency? They start letting people out of jail. All type of funding starts flowing. Different things start happening that wasn't happening before because their agenda has time and nobody can stop them. Exactly. They on their way out.
You want to put your mark on something and see it go through, even if you're there or not.
Right. So they start taking advantage of that. So let's not act like this person that has been so volatile won't turn up another level on you niggas.
I agree. And it's so interesting too though, because what I think, I had this conversation too with somebody because they were telling me a lot about some of the initiatives and things that have benefited Black people during this administration. And I was like, well, Dag, being as though I have a platform for, a positive platform, I would love to highlight. And he was like, well, they really don't want those type of things like highlighted though. They don't want those things publicized. Like, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like,
kind of deep.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, Dag, and they know these people personally. I was like, Dag, I would love an interview. And they was like, I don't know. If they
see what I'm saying? Like,
I was like, ooh.
But that's a loaded reaction. Not yours, theirs.
No,
it's not surprising though. But it's not surprising.
And at the end of the day, I'm not telling you who to vote for.
Right.
I'm not telling you gotta vote. I'm just explaining to you that there are people out here, the argument, the conversation we have all the time, when people always want to say, well, nobody say nothing when it's da-da-da-da-da. I only want to say something when it's da-da-da-da-da. And I always say that a lot of times you just being lazy and you just pointing the finger and saying stuff because if you really cared, there's things you can do. There are people that are doing.
Yeah, correct.
Part of doing is organizing, taking care of the community, information exchange.
But one thing you do, you never let people off the hook for comments like that. Because
what do you like? Because you know what?
in fact,
you know why?
right? He will never. I will see it at any moment. Someone makes a comment on something that no one's doing. He will. Sam is quick to respond. Like
I got
he's
too
You're
not
just
think
not
he lets
looking
anybody
for
get
it.
with any comments.
No,
specific,
but
like-
when it comes to that, I got a responsibility.
But that's what I was
responsibility.
saying specifically. I was about to
Correct.
say
like
specifically.
Sarita
It's their
and
responsibility.
But yeah,
Rises
I was about to say
and-
specifically.
We can name a bunch of people, Sister Talita, like people that's out here every week trying to do something, and you act like they don't exist.
Right.
That
doing
hurts me.
No, I was gonna say,
Keep
but
doing
specifically, I remember when we first started
doing
filming,
it.
we had that conversation.
You
So
had
that's what I was
that.
about to
Keep
get to.
doing it.
No,
We had that conversation. And
it's important to me.
because it's about because
Yeah.
I think I might have said something not to that effect, but basically like it's not highlighted enough.
Correct.
It's not
That's
that it's
it.
not happening.
Exactly.
It's that
Great
people are
point.
not aware, and that's kind of like why I feel so passionately about on the
That's why
same
you doing what
magazine,
you
and that's why I do what I do because it's
Yeah.
not publicized and it's not highlighted,
Correct.
and that's what gets people going. Like that's like food for thought for them. That's like generating resources and access and getting people where they not. And
It's
just
oxygen.
my point.
It's oxygen.
So it's life.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
the opposite. It's the opposite of carbon dioxide.
And
That
what I
helps
get,
you live
what I
better.
get from, granted, I know you, but what I get from if I'm outside looking in is that you're telling the world that you got to look for it because it's always there. It's
You know
people
what?
doing irresponsible comments saying, "Well, where y'all at when this happens?"
But
Or,
it's
No,
a shame that
I'm
you have to
doing-
look
No,
for it
it's-
because for me, where I jump in at, it's a shame that you have to
You
look for it.
don't if
I
you're
want to have
active.
that platform, not even about being active, because you're inundated. When you turn on the mainstream media,
Correct.
it's not there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why me being
No.
a person in media, us being in media,
Mhm.
like we are on these
It's your
platforms.
responsibility.
And yes, you do have to look for them, but guess what? We there.
We
You
use
know
it
what I
as
mean?
our responsibility. A lot of people in media don't think it is theirs nowadays.
Right.
But the thing about me is I'm in a position where once I
Right.
call you on it, I can tell you where to go.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
not even up to you to find out.
Mhm.
Ask me. Ask me. Pull my card. Call my
Or
bluff.
ask any-
See if I don't know 5, 6, 8 organizations that's dedicated to what you care about, or that's
Right.
in your region, your area. Or if I can't, I'll be up tonight hitting people up to see if they know somebody in Atlanta
Right,
that's
right.
doing something. If you in Georgia, like I'll figure it out
Right, right.
because that's the least I can do.
Yes, it challenged you too, but even them, you can ask around. Period. I think when they make a lot of these statements,
Everybody
They're
know
not
a
even
church, a
asking.
masjid, a synagogue.
always
Everybody
something.
knows somewhere that they can go give energy and find out other
and
programs.
what I'm gonna say to you is, don't let nobody off the hook. Every time you hear that statement, continue doing what you
You know
always
what,
been
though?
doing. You always respond to it.
It's like what I say. When it's addressed to me, then I'm gonna handle it as such. But when it's not, then I'm not holding nobody accountable neither, because I can't run around and try to change everybody's mind. I gotta help those that's trying to work.
Right.
I'm trying to influence the people or help the people that's trying to influence.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, my time is better served there. But if you want to engage me and you want to call me on something, then I'm going to call you on it too. Not for the sake of winning, for the sake of you understanding that that's thinking. That's a lazy outlook. And if you're going to talk like that, at least try first.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not even about winning. We mentioned winning, but you're giving.
I'm
facts.
never about
You're
winning
gi-
with
you're-
this kind of
you're,
shit.
You're giving real
You know
life
my
facts
personality. I'm
about
competitive as hell with a lot of shit.
That. Yeah, not with that. It's just you're giving.
Just
what
like
truthful
versus,
facts is.
the people win.
Right.
Like it ain't about if Patty.
That's what it's all about.
You know what I mean? The people win. So it's like some things we can argue over. We can get into a basketball argument today, and it'll be self-serving because it'll be my favorite player versus your favorite player. But when we're talking about a community of people,
Sure.
or a bubble of young men or women, or a nursing home full of whatever, like these, what does us winning, one of us winning, get for them?
Right.
As opposed to what they would get if we both just said, fuck it, we all in.
Right.
Just continue
Everybody
spreading
wins
the
at that
truth.
point.
Continue spreading the truth.
You got to treat this shit like you treat the cookout. How
Right.
many hot dogs we need? How many hamburgers we need?
Right,
How much
right,
that
right.
costs? Let's get it done.
Right.
Now, who the best person to cook it? Who the best person to serve the people? And who we need to get to speak to the people? It's simple. It's really simple. And like when it comes to one thing I know a lot of people have apprehensions about is it costs a lot to do what a lot of people want to do, which is start nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that want to start nonprofits though have no idea what that entails, what that means, and then their basis on wanting to do it sometimes is for skewed reasons.
Right.
When they find out that it's going
Is
to
it more
cost
the money or is it the time?
no, there's a lot of restrictions. There's a lot of things you do and don't get. Then it's about between $5,000 and $9,000 to get it done, to start it. From you, out your pocket. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then beyond that, you still have to build
You have to build the brand.
Beyond
to build
that, resources and all of that. So it's a huge undertaking where you would think if I want to start something that I'm not trying to get rich off of per se, that they would make it easier for you. It's still business, man.
Yeah.
Right.
So when people get into that, they a lot of the times get deterred. But what happens is if you're really adamant about it, then you're going to build a plan and you're going to start a process and an execution process to get to your goal, right? What you do while you're doing that, you help other nonprofits. You go to the mayors and the governors and the councilmen's situations, they rallies, they cleanups, and you talk to them, and you get in the pictures with the people, and then you tag them on your page so they know who you is. Oh yeah, I did see that person, and then when they see you again, get the familiarity thing. Like you build in the meantime. Don't get discouraged because numbers is numbers. They was made to be taken down. We just got to work towards them. Work is work. We got to hire people that's professionals to do the things that we can't do. Fine.
Well, she gave you a huge shout out earlier about always being present.
Well, you know what's crazy about that, bro? That was dope to hear. I appreciate the recognition, but what I do compare, like I'm pulling up on something that they set up, bro.
Right.
Do you know, as somebody that organizes, I understand how much they had to do.
But don't belittle.
I'm glad that I could be, and I know it might not coincide with what we're supposed to say. I'm glad that I could be a man on that day to help pick up some of the slack, whether that's vocally or physically.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because just like the family reunion in my family, it's a bunch of women that organize that thing. The men get there, they eat good, they drink good, we party good. Right. But at some point, we want to make sure that they don't have that day the same burden that they had the 3 months leading up to that.
Yeah. Right.
Because they did it selflessly and they did a great job. And that's usually any environment I walked into that she helped set up, you know, I never looked around and was like, well, what the heck is going on here?
Right.
And even when she goes to help situations, she helps them. She's not just there to be a face and to say my brand is represented. She offers help. She's getting people to fill out paperwork, and she's doing things that make sense. They doing voter registration on the spot. Yeah. She's making sure that these things that are happening.
She's present in the schools. I mean, that's really important too.
It needs to be recognized.
For me to come for a few hours is, man, listen. Like, and not to downplay it because I'm sure it is appreciated, but I appreciate them so much more because I know that I gotta work shit around to be there. They've been working on this.
But you still, like, your presence. You still
I'm always be present because we don't know how long we got health-wise to be able to do certain things. And I'm in a position where I'm one of the few people that I don't have children. So I'm going to take advantage of the time I do have. That's why I respect when other people, like, I got my, you know. Yeah. We talk about side kids all the time.
Yeah.
Because if it's a thing, then we ain't worried about it. But me, I can still go ahead and be there for us because I'm not going to act like I do have kids. I'm going to get the fuck out here and as much as I feel like I can be. And, you know,
kids
I'm in pain every day.
Present, so.
But I just think that this was one of those situations and one of the reasons that me and Kay thought it was important to get her on here is because everybody says, well, who you got on the show and who's the big names and all of that. That's a big name to me. You see what I'm saying? That's a big name. Y'all want to talk about who's teaching your kids how to do drugs and how to shoot people through music and entertainment and all of that. Let's talk about somebody that's walking through the neighborhood and telling them they ain't got to do that.
Exactly.
Telling them they care about them.
Absolutely.
Telling them they can be great. And then giving them resources.
That's why I got so much respect for both you and Sai. You know, the platform that y'all have, y'all got an opportunity to, you know, dictate the message, you know, and I think that's deep. And on top of that, y'all connect with so many people throughout Philadelphia and, you know, being a Philadelphia born and raised individual, y'all got a way of connecting with people. You know, the way, you know, we can chop it up, bust it up. I remember the first podcast. You already know. Very first podcast I was doing with you upstairs. Yo, it was nothing but laugh.
Right.
We reminisce on things from back in the day.
That's true.
But that just
go
shows,
check that out. I think it was episode 2 or 1.
It was early on.
It was 2.
But that connectivity that y'all have is like y'all play a very responsible role because people tune into y'all. Y'all got.
How you feel about this, Saf? We was bred for this shit, kinda.
I was just thinking that that's actually what I was thinking about
Bro,
saying. I was gonna say
what
thank you
did I
first.
tell you? Yo, I'm gonna tell you everything I love. When I left that day, I said something about you. I was like, "That's it. That's the move."
Oh, this is up.
Dead ass, because I was like, "Yo, that's perfect."
Nobody has pushed back against you. I ain't even
It
had
was
no
perfect.
females tell me like,
It was perfect.
why you pick her? Like,
It was perfect.
niggas know.
It was like
That's what's up.
No,
but
but
no,
what you
I
was
do
about to
think
say,
no,
yeah.
I do think that as he was just saying it. So thank you for the compliment. But I think again, I was gonna say I think it's embedded in us. I mentioned earlier in the pod and in most of the episodes, it's our upbringing. It's about our core values and the things that we believe in. I think that if we didn't do it, it kind of be like I would feel like I was already doing a disservice, and I wouldn't feel like I would be even feeling up like living up to my potential because it's exactly what I need to do
That
and I want to
basket
do.
will have an empty spot in it.
Absolutely,
Because
so,
you can put a lot in your basket, but that it's just like your soul.
just like what Serita was saying, like you have to love what you do. Like I absolutely love what I do in every form, shape, and fashion. Like I absolutely love it. I wouldn't do anything else because again, like I feel like what we do, like we do have such a bond because of the way we were raised and not only the length and time, but just again our belief. We just connect, and I just feel like we're able to convey certain messages and able to connect with other people.
absolutely.
And it's just something that's dope.
Well, we come as we are.
I connect with the real.
And I tell people that, and
That's
everybody
the thing,
tell us
though,
too,
like-
though. But
like,
hold up,
we're not nervous. We're not intimidated
It's not
by you.
scripted
We want
or
you to
nothing.
be great in front of us because we're great in ourselves. I believe in her.
but everybody tells us
both of
that this
y'all.
is like one of the most comfortable interviews that they have ever had, like ever. And I think it's because again, it's not something that's practiced. It's
Yeah.
something that's just very organic and genuine.
Very organic.
So the things that yes, we know what we're talking about at the same time, but it's not something that we tell them what to say or we even talk about what we're saying. Everything that we go is just organic. And
But y'all learners too. Y'all sit, y'all digest.
little sponges.
Yeah, exactly. So y'all able to. Someone can come in here and even have opposition thoughts to whatever y'all believe in, but y'all are people that you can actually take a subject and just learn from it. And
Sure,
adapt.
absolutely.
So,
That's about
it's pretty
equality.
dope.
I don't mind having conversations. I don't like
I
having
don't have to
arguments.
be always right though. Like
I'm not good at arguments because I'm not good at yelling over people. As loud as I could be, when it comes to like things that are emotional, my voice will never get louder than some. It's like a weird, it's like a weird mute.
oh, I can
Yeah, and I don't win that way. I feel like I'm trying the wrong way when I'm going that hard.
Yeah.
So like
I
I'd
get
rather
it.
have conversations.
Yours turn because people won't realize that you're someone that can actually have a conversation and you can have a conversation in opposition where if your conversation turns because the other person doesn't know how to argue their opposition
without making it a fight.
exactly, and that's one of those things where both of y'all where we can have a conversation and still oppose it, but it's a learning process more than anything, not just okay, you just hating on me because you're in opposition of
But
it.
I always want to learn too. And that's the thing, like even speaking earlier to Serita
Love
when
learning.
we was talking about certain things, I'm not asking
Absolutely.
questions
I better
to
learn
oppose.
something every day.
And I
Ask
know
for clarity.
as a man sometimes that's what it seems like. But this is Sippin with Sammie, and I want to be able to get clarity without being viewed as though I'm pushing back.
Correct.
Because I would never push back against anybody that, first of all, I respect Serita and Sop sitting next to me and Kay on the other side. I could get jumped by these women on camera right now. But other than that, it's like, I know shit been fucked up. Shit been fucked up for me. Why not think that shit been fucked up for you? But the better understanding of that I have of the reach of that,
Right.
like I stated before, when I was like, we realized it was happening. We didn't realize how frequent and like how much of a burden it was. And it might have been selfish, but I think the selfish reason was because we can't handle that shit as much as we thought we could either.
But you prefaced it.
But I want to
stated
know
that.
now.
You stated
I
that.
want to
You
know now.
You said that us men know, but breaking it down, like how
How do you
Serita
feel about that?
is-
How do you feel about how I described that? Is that how you feel about it? Or is it
it
similar?
it was clarity. It was just
Okay.
like, all right, let him, like, because as you were speaking, I'm like, we need clarity on this because men do think differently than women.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it out there. That's what it is.
That's
like,
why we need y'all. Well, the ones that need y'all.
Mm-hmm.
we just need we need the communication. Some of us literally are waiting in a wing to be like, oh, okay. And how even she broke that down, I was like, oh, all right. But that's sometimes all that.
And
is.
she gave me the all the way broke down version because I was trying to explain to her like, yo, I understand the overall. I need the micro.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, like when we get into this, there's one thing to walk past a construction site, and there's a thing that already is in everybody's head that comes along with that. It's like cowboy town. But at the same time, how far, like when you know what I mean? Where like is this like even worse than I might know?
And that's the thing. Like, are we in the same realm of what we're thinking, or is like,
because I be thinking like, yo, we horrible over here.
But I think people are different too. I also think that you guys are very different than a lot of other men that are outside.
But I think a lot of men don't know how to express the way that we do either.
Right, but I'm even saying beyond that, I'm also thinking about the societal norms right now. Again, through music or whatever art, whatever way you want to see it in media.
Look at how they treat the sportscasters. That's dope as hell. That's female right now. It's weird as hell, man.
Right. So what I'm just saying is that it's just so y'all even like everybody's different, right? Each one, But my whole thing is that you two are on a whole. You might be a little bit slightly different than a lot of other people that are out there, than the majority of men that's out there. Because I don't think a lot of men think like you. But I'm not a man.
But I also think that we both got a lot of caveman in us too. So that I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't take the caveman part out. Like I know that we not perfect neither.
Right, but even being able to, what do I say? No one is half the battle, right?
And that's what it is for us. It's like
about the
if we know something, we tend not to repeat that, or
you can repeat it, but it's even
we can still be
ignorant
ignorant to a certain degree where we just may not know.
Right. I'm not saying to repeat it, but I'm just saying that knowing is half the battle, because at least if you know what I'm saying, or if you know better, you do better. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
like we say, man, and this is speaking for men in general, because a lot of things have shifted in society in general, just without male or female, just ways of dealing with. Work with us, explain it to us. Understand who has your best interests in mind to your best of your ability.
Sure, absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, I could be wrong. I talk to Kay all the time and I say some shit. And Kay be like, like, that's kind of like, and I be like, damn, I didn't know that. Yeah. Now, that's my reason for why I said that. Right. But at the same time, next time I go to say something that sounds like that, there's that little thing.
Check yourself.
There's that little thing that's like,
that happened to me about
this might offend, or this might not be accurate because of how it's, how it's presented or on history. Like, we can't be black people and not act like the way things have been presented don't affect the way that you view things now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So some things may have not been your doing, may have not been your intentions, but now that we recognize that thing that was a thing was taken this way, now you're responsible for
that. That's what Serita's going through now. For example, with the young fella who said you only here because you're getting paid. But guess
she wanted him over. I bet the farm she got him.
I know she did, because he mentioned, oh, y'all gotta pay her after having that disrespectful comment about,
because he already knew that she was doing good work.
Right.
But
even from his,
like you said, that was the test.
But
that was the test.
Hard, like yo.
But goes to your point.
They do it every time.
He's doing it based off what he's saying, that based off what he knows, what you also stated.
And his fear,
what's happened to him in his past.
He's worried about his fears.
Yeah,
it was
a genuine reaction.
Somebody that he would
ride.
It was
a genuine reaction.
He would give her a ride. He would ride for her. He would give her a bite of the sandwich, half his sandwich if he needed to. He doesn't want to buy into somebody that much that is just here for a paycheck.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the things that he holds sacred, that he can control, that he can do,
right,
are not many.
Absolutely.
And that makes it valuable.
Right.
Absolutely.
So he has to protect that. And that's how these kids feel. Yeah. And they're dead right to feel that way.
They should.
Because there's a lot of people.
No trust built.
There's a lot of people in these systems that's either preying on them or just there for a check. Yeah. So I'm not against them. I want them to push back a little bit. I would want my child to push back a little bit. Yeah. Don't just assume because this man taught you how to shoot a jump shot that he got your best interest in mind. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
So I want that. But at the same time, I want adults, not peers, leaders and adults to understand that you are an adult. And this is a child that is showing you their direct need by explaining to you that I just don't trust you because of this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They gave you a map to gain their trust.
That blueprint.
And all you have to do is not take it for granted and be genuine.
Yeah.
And what happens a lot of times when we get older, we hear or see little things that we like, we attach to it. Kids not as quick to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll wait you out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They'll put you through another test. They'll put you through another hoop. But it's because they are vulnerable.
Yeah. And they're telling you exactly
They don't
what
protect
it is.
themselves.
That young man said exactly what his issue is.
But
That's why
you
you
know
said
what?
the truth come from the
And
mouth of
hide.
babes.
And you know what? She gave that on this platform, which taught somebody else.
Right.
He helped her teach somebody else because she had an example of a real life situation, not an assumption
Yeah.
that she can always refer to that people would understand.
Right.
That's important.
It is.
Absolutely.
We ain't the fucking end all be all know it alls because we have platforms and we have networks and
No.
resources. Like at the end of the day, these things are here to help me get to a certain place, but they're also here to help people that want to benefit from them.
Just share your truths. That's all.
That I can not really vibe with, but that I can tolerate long enough to get it to them. Cause you ain't gotta be my bestie for me to want you to win.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But if you say, yo, I don't understand this, and you can take the 15 minutes for me to explain it to you, and then you take some time amongst yourself to build on that, and then you put somebody.
I actually love that. I
It's
love when someone
gorgeous.
says, "I don't understand this, but I'm here."
You're
Right.
somebody that doesn't mind asking questions though.
I ask.
Now you
me
over
too.
ask sometimes.
I always.
But
ask.
you're somebody
It's
that
about
like
clarity.
you know how they say there's no such thing as a dumb question.
Yeah.
E don't ask dumb questions. E always asks questions.
Right, right, right.
clarity.
But
It's
in
clarity.
his field, it makes sense to
Absolutely.
Clarity.
Absolutely.
me. Not so much that he learned it from his field, but
No,
why he's
but
been
it's how-
successful in the
exactly.
field this long is because he
I was about to
understands.
say
I've
that.
seen so many people take what I assumed was great direction and then not fulfill the direction that was given. So clarity is very important to me.
And that's why I
Very
say that. That's
important
why I
to
say
me.
I just want to be clear because a lot of times people are used to pushback,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just asking because I want you to like. I'm literally humbling myself,
No, it's
and not that it's that humbling to me because I always tell y'all.
That's
Right,
a great
right,
point
right.
you just brought
Fucking
up,
thing.
though. But you know what's weird about even gaining clarity? Some people actually use that against you, where it's like, no, I'm really want to know.
Well, some
And
people
it's
don't know what
like-
to say either, and
That's
that's
very
another
true.
form
Like,
of
Some people
deflection.
don't think before they speak either.
another
That's what
form
we
of
talked about
deflection.
too.
You just said that earlier too.
He
But
said
no.
it first, and I brought it back, and then it's the second time I brought it back.
Nah, but we had a great episode.
I'm playing wall ball by myself, bringing them Jones back.
Salute to Serita, man.
Absolutely, I told you she.
Shout out to everybody. We named quite a few names today. Like anything that we name that you want to research, if you can't find it, hit us up. We'll tap you in. Anything that you want to call my bluff on, I'm with it.
Let's go.
The people that do these works, I have good relationships with them because they're doing what they're supposed to do, and I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. So if you want to help, I have no problem tagging you in. And like I said, sometimes it's a couple dollars, sometimes it's a couple cases of water, sometimes it's buying a t-shirt, sometimes it's showing a little elbow grease, sometimes it's showing up,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just going somewhere to learn. It might be a Zoom to help you,
Mm-hmm.
to help others. But do whatever capacity you can do to support people that are supporting your community instead of making excuses about why things aren't happening in community. Everything happens based on numbers and resources. Everything. So we are going to be here to provide those things to the fullest of our capacity. We want y'all to help us with that. But we also want y'all to help people that we can't reach.
Mm-hmm.
That's more important. You help us help ours, but also let us help you help yours. Because like everybody's been saying, and I don't like that kind of attention because I'm not somebody that does it for that. I'm here for it.
Mm.
I'm about it. I'm with it.
We
I'm
know.
riding. I'm riding. I love my people. I love your people. I love everybody that don't mean mind no harm. On some real shit. Happy birthday to Sonny Brick.
Oh, that was a surprise. Hey.
Happy birthday.
Si.
This is
Thank
gonna
you.
air a little after her birthday.
It's sorry, it's
but,
my whole month though. It's okay.
She been turning up.
I sure have.
Shout out to everybody that made her birthday feel like
Shout
her
out to
birthday.
all my folks. Everybody really showed me a lot of love.
We took her to the club
Be more,
last
right?
night.
Sure
Some
did.
time
I
in
went
there.
to Be More. I did the club thing. My girlfriends took me out there. My folks took me to dinner. I got dinners on dinners on dinners on like I got cash apps. I was like, oh, I didn't even ask for them.
You lit, little nigga?
Yo, I didn't even ask. People was like, yo, what's your cash app? I was like, oh, all
That's
right.
the new thing now.
That's how we feel. I felt bad. Like I see people doing it, but I was like, I'm not really doing that. I can't.
Nah,
that
don't
ain't-
post. Yo, don't
that ain't
post
my
it.
for her
speed.
birthday.
Don't post your cash app, yo.
It's this facade.
But what I do want to say is, I just want to say, you know, Want to See Magazine, follow that. Holler at us on wannasseemagazine.com for all of your positive information. We have some new articles out. Shout
Give
out
me a
to G
little more
Herbo. Shit, we talk about always about
Oh,
the positive
Herbo
things.
bought the school.
Yeah, so Herbo bought his school.
Shout out to Herbo.
He been doing a lot of things
he
in the
been
past
working.
couple months. So this month in September, he bought it opened his old school that he went to, and he turned it into a community center with
It was shut down.
It was shut down. They closed in 2013.
Mhm.
And he now has like music studios and all types of things for the community. In July, he started an initiative called Swerving Through Stress,
Mhm.
where it's a mental health initiative
Absolutely.
to get at least starting off as 150 of the youth mental health services. And even before that, when Cook County Jail and when the coronavirus really hit the onset of it,
Yeah.
Cook County Jail had 1,000 coronavirus cases,
Mhm.
and he donated 20,000 masks to the jail, which helped
Nah,
not
real
only the
shit.
prisoners but the staff as well. So I just wanted to shout him out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was really dope.
Well
So
deserved.
you can follow that and find that article on wannasseemagazine.com.
Give me one more. Give me one more.
So we got Jimmy the Saint's on there. We got it's a 12-year-old that's in his second year of college going
Ooh.
on there. We got the new one.
Is he
coming-
black?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely. So we got some real dope and inspiring information. So holler at us at wannasseemagazine.com.
Nah, that's dope. As always, I'm proud of you. And you know me, I'm with the current events, and I'm usually ahead of the current events. I actually, all the things you said about Herbo, I've been keeping up with him on, and I'm not necessarily a G Herbo fan, but I like how he moves.
That's what I was.
And I've also seen his growth as an artist, and I
Absolutely.
respect some of what he's done lately. But the community, like I say,
You know
man,
how I feel about that.
we gotta support that. So salute to that for real. Salute to E. Salute to everybody that makes this shit happen. Everybody that supports. If you support us, do me a solid. Like, subscribe, comment, share. The merch is available. Sippin' with Sammie podcast, glasses, t-shirts, amateur twerking sucks t-shirts, Flyboy Friday radio merch is all over the place. There's everything from Dickies, the champion hoodies, the t-shirts, the dad caps, the trucker hats, to a couple things I'm not even sure I'm supposed to let y'all know about yet. Like, it's a lot going
It's
on,
gonna
man.
be
Salute to
fire.
the logo Poe for his brain working the way it do, and his energy being in our direction always. That's my guy. Salute Font Productions. We were speaking
Yes, shout
earlier
out.
as to setting up nonprofits, as to setting up your business, as to getting your royalties, licensing.
And to come over when my dad do his cookout, because
Hold up.
He
We not
always
doing
finds
that, E. Stop your drunk shit. Let me finish. She's available. Hit up Font Productions at PHANTPHILLY on Instagram so that you can get all your business right, so you can get your paperwork right. Phone's been jingling, so catch up quick, because I got to believe demand is what increases your rates. Uh-oh.
Say that. Talk heavy. Let's go.
But check us out every Thursday, man. Sippin' with Sammie podcast, every platform and media streaming situation, 4 p.m. because I love happy hour and because I control happy hour. Check us out every Flyboy Friday, Glocawear Radio, 4 to 6 p.m. every Friday, the best happy hour in the world on the greatest station in the nation. And I have been your host, Sippin' with Sammie, Sam Malone, Barstool Rule. If you ain't sipping with Sammie, you ain't sipping right. Get your fucking life together.
Ow.
See y'all soon.
Malone.
Hands up! Hands up!
This a heads up, I came to get my bread up. I ain't deviating for shit, homie, I'm fed up. I ain't flipped out in the bit. kept my head up. Nose clean, toes down, businessmen become foes now. Shark Tank, dog eat dog, bet they know now. The Puma nigga with long hair will throw down. Time to go now, been told y'all, let's talk about it. Tried to settle down, tip, fuck it, I'm back to drown shit. Heavy talk, so come heavy, you're not around here. And this wherever, fuck where I'm at, I ain't from down here. Mama angel, I was fumbled from heaven, ain't no how. Your chick bless me, I'm earth's blessing, it's going down. Tired of nights stressing about how to get you to listen. Pick a side, ride or die, I'm on a mission. Cousin, I'm a chef, ain't tripping about Hell's Kitchen. I drink like a fish, no ocean too deep to swim in, I'm out here. I was down, you called it winning. Short-sighted motherfucker, this life, my life's different. Plenty nights, them lights shimmered. Upgraded the wheel, treat them lights different. While chiefing tonight's is a
Hands up! Hands up!
I'm decent, we living, cognac, toasting and bitten. Laugh at shit that ain't funny, my happiness ain't money. Nothing short of a box, a cage could take it from me. My get back phenomenal, come up
Astronomical.
I'm the one they whisper about and try to outdo. Whole world wanna sip with Sammie, not you. I'm checking for checks, I hated you, not true. My eyes up to the sky, I'm focused above you.
Hands up!
Hands up. Hands up.
Hands up!
Let's get head the fuck up. One more time. One more time. One more time. One more time.